んにちは、ジャパニーズアモのミサです。Hey guys, do you guys know the differences between ください、お願いします and どうぞ? For example, look at this sentence. 座る、お願いします。So this sentence is actually wrong. Can you correct it? So, 座る means to sit down, and お願いします is often translated as please, right? So the sentence is trying to say, please sit down, please take a seat. But how do we correct it? If you corrected 座る into 座って, good job. That's the first step. 座ってお願いします. This is another common mistake I see. 手 form plus お願いします. The 手 form is used to request things. So when you want to say, please do something, we put this 手 at the end. So we say, 食べて, please eat. 見て, look. 話して, please speak. 聞いて, listen to me. But we never say, 手お願いします. This sounds very weird. So don't say 座ってお願いします. Say 座ってください. 座ってください. Have a seat. You can also say 座って without ください, but that's used when speaking informally. So when talking to your friends, you can say 座って, take a seat, just sit down. But if you're talking to a stranger, for example, you want to say 座ってください. Anyway, this is the first thing I want you to remember. When you want to say please do something and you want to use the verb, you change the verb into the 手 form and then put ください if it's formal. For example, if you want to say please say one more time, you'd say もう一度言ってください. もう一度言ってください. You change you into 言って. Alright, so don't say 言うお願いします or 言うください. Sounds very unnatural. And also, instead of 座ってください, you will hear お座りください. お座りください. This is another polite way to say, please have a seat. So, you can either do the 手 form plus ください, which is the standard polite speech, like you can use it to anyone. And there is also this お plus must form stem plus ください. And this is mega polite. So this is already about 丁寧語, 尊敬語, and I have a lesson on that, so please check that out. But just remember that you will see this 手 ください and also お must stem ください. You will also hear おかけになってください. おかけになってください. This is a very polite formal speech, so employees would speak like that to customers. Okay? So you never speak like that to your friends or anything. But you need to remember this as well. It sounds better to say, please have a seat than please sit down, right? So it's kind of like the subtle difference. Like instead of 待ってください, it's more polite to say お待ちください. お待ちください. For example, you're talking to a receptionist in a hotel. You probably wouldn't hear 待ってください, because that's polite grammatically, but not polite enough in business industries. They would say 少々お待ちください. 少々 is the more formal way to say ちょっと, a little. And お待ち, that's the must form stem of the verb 待つ, to wait. So see, 待つ is the dictionary form. If you change it to its 手 form, it becomes 待って. And you can add ください. 待ってください. If you change it into the must form, it becomes 待ちます. Right? And instead of must, you put this ください. And also you add お at the beginning. お待ちください. The business level politeness. And also when an employee is talking to a customer, they use douzo a lot to be polite. So you can also do どうぞ blah blah てください。どうぞを must them ください。And even どうぞお願いします。You often see this どうぞ attached at the beginning. So どうぞおかけください means please have a seat. And that's even more polite than just おかけください。So どうぞ is used to add extra politeness, right? But どうぞ on its own is used when you, for example, give something to somebody. Like, here you go, どうぞ, and that sounds polite, okay? Informally, we actually say, hi, like, here. It's funny, right? Hi is the polite way to say yes, but informally, it means here you go when giving something. And also, どうぞ is used to give permission. So somebody asks, like, may I take a picture? And you say, sure, go ahead. So it's like, go ahead. You can say, どうぞ, どうぞ. Or, このペンを使ってもいいですか? May I use this pen? And you can say, どうぞ. Informally, you say, いいよ, いいよ. So, どうぞ can be used to give something to somebody, right? And you can say object をどうぞ. Then you want to say what you're giving. So you can say お水をどうぞ. Here you go, water for you. お水をどうぞ. So, object をどうぞ means please accept this, right? So it's used when you're giving something. Whilst if you say something をください, that's the opposite. You want something. So if I say お水をください, it means please give me water. Whereas お水をどうぞ, it means here you go, there's water for you. Some people get confused thinking that どうぞ also means please. So it's the same as ください and end up saying お水をどうぞ when requesting for water and never getting water. So ください means please give me, literally. The dictionary form is くださる, くださる. くださる is actually the 尊敬語, the polite form of the verb くれる. Somebody gives me something. Again, I have a list on this, so please check it out. You say somebody がくださる. Somebody がくれる. It means somebody gives me something. And ください, that's actually an imperative form, like give me that, but it sounds very polite. ください, okay? So you can say object をください to mean please give me something. Usually tangible things, like りんごをください please give me an apple. And if you want to specify how many, you can say りんごを一つください. You at the counter in front of ください. Or if you are smoking, for example, you can say 灰皿をください. Like, I need an ashtray. And ください is very formal, so you didn't say that to your friends unless you're joking. So to your friends, you say ちょうだい, ちょうだい. So if your friend is, for example, eating some chocolate, and you say, can you give me a piece? You can say ちょっとちょうだい. You can say チョコちょっとちょうだい. チョコちょっとちょうだい. Or you can be a brat and say お金ちょうだい to your parents. Give me your money. お金ちょうだい is, you know, quite, it's informal. So that's how you talk to your parents. If you really want money, kids actually switch to the formal speech and say お金をください. Please give me money, mother, father. So, you know, sounding formal actually makes you sound like you're, you know, more polite, more humble, right? So parents tend to be like, okay, you are at least being polite about it. So here you go, some money. お金どうぞ. But anyway, ください, object をください. So usually tangible things, but sometimes you can also say like non-tangible thing をください. For example, もっと時間をください. Please give me more time. Right? So time is not tangible, but you can say that. Or 愛をください. Please give me your love. It's not very common thing to say. I mean, yeah, obviously. But you could say that. Grammatically, yes, you can. But remember that generally it's object or kudasai. So that means if you say person or kudasai, it sounds strange. Unless you are marrying that person and asking for the parents' approval. So this is kind of an old-fashioned way to ask the parents, but you can say 娘さんをください. It's like every Japanese person has heard this in like drama or anime, right? So it's like the phrase that somebody who just proposed would say. So 娘さん means your daughter. Okay, 娘 is daughter, but adding さん means that it's somebody else's daughter, not yours. So 娘さんをください. Traditionally, you propose to a girl and then you visit her parents and ask for their approval or permission. So 娘さんをください. I would like to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage. That's the phrase everyone thinks has to say. But this is actually old-fashioned and a lot of parents don't like this phrase and they say like 娘は物じゃない. Like my daughter is not an object. See, even for that phrase, people think, kudasai is only used for objects. Interesting, right? And yeah, instead of 娘さんをください, the more popular way is 娘さんと or the name さんと結婚させてください. Right? Please let me marry her. 結婚する becomes 結婚させて to mean let me marry. Yeah, so don't do person or ください. So instead, you want to say person or お願いします if you are asking for somebody, for example, on the phone or, like requesting that person to do something. For example, you are at the language school and you want to select a teacher, specific teacher, and you want to say, I would like this teacher. And you say the teacher's name or お願いします. So you can say ミサ先生をお願いします. Like I'm requesting ミサ先生. Or please put ミサ先生 on the phone. You say ミサ先生をお願いします. Like person をお願いします. And also this お願いします is generally safer when asking for things like please give me. And that tends to sound more polite than ください. So instead of リンゴを一つください, you can say リンゴを一つお願いします. Okay. Also, with お願いします, you don't have to put a verb or a noun, but just an adverb. So if you want somebody to do something as soon as possible, you can just say できるだけ早くお願いします. So please do it as soon as possible. Again, if you say できるだけ早くください, it means give that to me as soon as possible. So it's not very polite. And also it means give that to me. So unless you're getting something, it doesn't make sense. If you're asking somebody to do, like finish working, for example, you want to say できるだけ早くお願いします. Okay? And you gotta add this お願いします or it's not polite. Even when you are talking to your friends, it's still nice to add お願い without ください. So できるだけ早くお願い. But this お願いします is often used with nouns that indicate action. For example, you will often hear ご署名をお願いします. ご署名をお願いします. So that means please sign your name here. 署名 means signature. ご署名, the ご is added to make it polite about someone else's signature. Again, anyway, ご署名, your signature, please. So when the noun indicates some action, we tend to put this お願いします more often. Or 自己紹介をお願いします. Again, very common phrase. 自己紹介をする to introduce oneself. But instead of 自己紹介をしてください, it's more polite and common to say 自己紹介をお願いします。Again, that's an action, so お願いします works better. If you want somebody to repair something, you can say 修理お願いします。Right? Like パソコンの修理をお願いします。Like I ask you to repair my computer. Also, when you want to pay a bill, please, you say お会計お願いします。お会計お願いします。Or you want somebody's name, like you want to ask somebody's name, you say お名前をお願いします。お名前をお願いします。So instead of お名前を言ってください, it's more polite to say お名前をお願いします。Or you want to ask for a window seat, you say 窓側の席をお願いします。Like if you say 窓側の席をください, people will understand you, but not very natural.Like it's like you want to own that seat. Whereas 窓側の席をお願いします means I'm just asking that person to put me in that seat. But for example, ご説明お願いします Literally, your explanation, please. 説明 is a noun for explanation. You can also use the verb 説明する and say 説明してください Right? Please explain.But ご説明お願いします sounds actually slightly more polite. Right? So ください is, like I said, already in the formal speech. But お願いします tends to sound more polite. Because, again, ください means please give me, literally. Whilst お願いします means I beg you. So it sounds more polite than, please do something for me. That's still an order. Right? Whereas if I use お願いします, it's I'm not ordering anyone to do anything. I'm just requesting, asking. If somebody says no, I understand. Solve, thing. But be careful. I said instead of 説明してください, ご説明お願いします is more polite, right? But you will also hear ご説明ください. So this is another polite form. ご or お noun ください is also a very extremely polite way to say please do something. But this only works with few nouns. So ご説明ください ご注意ください お電話ください So again, instead of お電話ください you can say お電話お願いします But お電話くださいis already a polite form. But 電話してください is not as polite as お電話ください or お電話お願いします So you will still hear this, おご plus noun plus ください but it's only with few words. Just remember object or ください Generally, but 手 form plus ください Definitely, this is important. 聞いてください食べてください言ってくださいBut object をお願いします or person をお願いします or action をお願いします And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you could support me on Patreon, I would forever be grateful. じゃあまたねバイバイ